Welcome shave fans for my 7 Deadly Sins of Wet Shaving video. I was tagged by Rich over at Shaving with Rich to do my 7 Deadly Sins, and so we'll get started. Alright, got a list and glasses so I can read the list. So, greed, most expensive. I got a few things that kind of are all really close together, all razors. And so I think the absolute most expensive is my feather set. And this is the feather stainless razor with the stand, and I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it. I got it in a from the BST, the buy sell trade, but it's about a $150 razor if I remember right. The next closest thing is my gold plated Rockwell 6S that I got from Razor Emporium, and I used the coupon, so I got it for like 140 some odd bucks. So, worth every penny. I absolutely love this razor, which is why I bought it in gold. So, and then the third closest thing would be my Wonder Bar from Razor Rock. And this is just my all-time favorite slant. It's just, for me, is awesome and wonderful. And I think that was $125. So those are my most expensive items, and I desperately in love with two of them. The feather hasn't been that good for me, so maybe I just need to figure out the angle or something. I haven't used it that many times. Anyway, okay, now the other part of greed is the least expensive, and so least expensive items. I get a couple things again. One is this Lord plastic razor, and these are marketed under several different companies, but it's a plastic razor, and I got this from when I was ordering from the Shoebox Shave Shop. I was ordering some brushes and stuff, and they had these for 99 cents. So I threw it in the cart, and it shaves, man. It works. If you ever need a really cheap travel razor that you don't mind losing or throwing away, these work great. So that's pretty awesome. So that was $1, and the other thing is these soaps that I get from the dollar store, from Dollar Tree specifically. And this is from, I don't know if you guys can read that, but Sugar Soap Works. And it's not like, it's SHUGAR, Sugar. So, and this one happens to be oatmeal and verbena. I don't know why it says oatmeal. As far as I can tell, there's no oatmeal in it, but what is in it is a pretty simple ingredient. So it's got sodium palmate, sodium palm kernelate, aqua, perfume, glycerin. Oh, there's some oat in there, I guess. Oat is in there, and then sodium chloride and pentasodium pentate. So really pretty simple as far as soaps go. And these are great big 7-ounce bars. It comes in a variety of different scents, and I like them all. Though the verbena is definitely, I'm on a verbena kick, and I really like it. But for $1 for a 7-ounce bar of soap that doesn't dry out your skin and leave you feeling all weird like most of the store-bought soaps, this stuff is awesome. I really like it. And I have a bunch of artisan soaps as well. I quit years ago using anything like that you buy at the grocery store. So I've been using different organic soaps and stuff like that, and that's what I like about this, is it really performs like one of those organic style soaps. So really dig that. Okay, so that was greed. And wrath, love, hate. Things that you love and that you also hate at the same time. And for me, this one's pretty simple because, I'm an artisan. I do, and I make stuff with the 3D printer. And that stuff is my wrath, is my love-hate. Because I love the finished product, but sometimes if I'm doing a multicolor brush or something like that, sometimes I'll have to do it 4 or 5 times before I get one dialed in just right. And so that can be a little frustrating. I don't think I've ever done a colored brush where I've got it perfect the first time. So it's always been probably at least 3 before I get it nailed. And, you know, there are various things about that. So that's really frustrating for me, is that even though I do a lot of those brushes, each one is unique. And so each one has to be fiddled with and tweaked and messed with. The other thing, and this is another product of mine, are these blade dryers. So when I got a request to make a little place that somebody could, you know, put a blade to dry in between shaves, because he didn't want to leave it in the razor, I was like, yeah, sure. So I whipped this out, didn't think much of it, and but man, they sell like hotcakes. So but I leave all my blades in the razor. So for me, this is kind of like, I don't understand, but you guys like it and actually love it. And so, you know, I'll hook you up with it. But not something that I have used. Although I might use it if I go on a trip or something like that. That way I can put the blade in while I'm, you know, if I'm moving between locations, different things like that. So that is my wrath. That 3D print stuff kind of drives me crazy. But without the 3D printing business, I wouldn't have, I'd have maybe 1/10 of what I have for my shaved in. So that business has allowed me to feed my greed, basically. Okay, gluttony, most delicious. And I have a kind of a range. There is a certain, you know, types of scents that to me define that deliciousness. And so one of them is the Henry Victoria cognac and Cuban cigars. This stuff, wow, it's just awesome. I wore it today actually, and man, just like all day long, I'm just loving that scent. And some other that's, you know, some other ones that are like just like that in the same family would be Porch Drinks, Drunken Goat. Porch Drinks is of course Katie's Bubbles, and Carnivus and Richardson. Let's see, I have his brush right here. Carnivus and Richardson, brush makers. They did a collaboration with Chris Cullen over at Katie's Bubbles and came up with Porch Drinks while they were sitting out, you know, drinking and smoking and joking. So Porch Drinks is really good that way. Drunken Goat, another phenomenal scent. And that's Mickey Lee Soapworks, if I remember right. And then Tarry Stout is another favorite of mine, and that's from Some Irish Guy Shaving. And that is one heck of a deal. You get a bottle like this of aftershave, and I think it's like $8. Check on Etsy. They're really, really good scents, and they last all day. Okay, next thing is sloth. And these are things that you don't use out of laziness. And this is a particularly bad one for me, and it is shave stands. So, of course, if you guys haven't watched it, I did an hour-long video a little more than a year ago where I showed a big wall shave stand that I have upstairs, and can hold like 50 brushes, or not brushes, 50 razors, and, you know, a bunch of brushes, and it's got shelves all over. It's like 5 feet wide and 4 feet tall. Giant shave stand. And unfortunately, I can look down here on the counter to me right there, and there's at least 12 razors sitting right there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 brushes right there. And there's soaps all over the place here and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, for me, the thing that I don't use because of laziness is I don't put the stuff back where it belongs. Which is really kind of funny because, you know, I have so many razors. I don't typically use the same razor, you know, 2 days in a row or 2 times in a row at all. I kind of rotate through. I will say that big stand that I made, I grew out of that like about 2 months later. So I have a big overflow down here of soap. And of course, you know, all the stuff that's on the counter, and there's piles of stuff everywhere. It drives my wife crazy. Okay, the next thing is pride. what in your den are you most proud of? And I thought about this, because I'm an artisan, I make things, and so I certainly have things there that I'm proud that I designed and 3D printed and made, and they've been popular and they're very cool. But when I really thought about what I'm the most proud of, without a doubt, it is the friendships that come with really just about every tub of soap, every brush, that I do. Because of my frugal nature, I guess, I work out a lot of trades, and just over the years, the wet shaving community is just so loving and open, and it's just a really great community. I mean, you guys know this. You're in it. So over the years, I have worked out a lot of trades and made a lot of friends and stuff. So when I look at a tub of soap, like this one, this is my most recent acquired soap. And it's the Not Your Mother's Lavender, a collaboration between K-Shave Works and Hazelet's Apothecary. When I look at this soap, I don't think, oh, that's a lavender soap. No. What I think is, oh, that's Dean's soap that he collaborated. He gave the scent profile to Kevin and Kelly over at K-Shave Works, and they collaborated and came up with this soap, and it's awesome. And I have the original as well. So when I think about that, any soap that's in here, just any soap like Blackmore. So I got to be part of creating Blackmore because I helped design the topper for the EDT. So, and just Robert's a cool guy, awesome friend. So that's really, for me, that is the pride part. The thing I'm most proud of are the friendships that I have that have grown over the years being in the wet shaving community. And, I wet shaved for decades before I joined the community and got the acquisition disorders and stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't have a tenth of the stuff that I have if it wasn't for friendships, and the fact that I could, I was friends with Dean, and so he said, hey, I need some of your stuff, and I said, not a problem, let's swap out. You happen to have one of these Not Your Mother's Lavenders, the new formula around. So yeah, he sent it off to me. I'm going to send him some stuff, and that's repeated over and over and over, and just that sense of community. It's just absolutely wonderful. Love it. I look at Soap Commander, and I can't, help but think of Darren and Carrie, and of course Luke now after his accident, and all that stuff. If I look at a tub of PAA, I think about my friendship with Douglas. And if I look at, Dr. John's, any of that kind of stuff, I think about my friendship with John, because he's a huge Star Wars fan. So, all right. So there is pride, my friendships that I have grown over these years. All right. The next one is lust. What do you really want but you don't have in your shop? And that is clown fruit. I want so bad a clown fruit set. But I'm on spending hiatus. I can trade for stuff, but I'm not spending anything on wet shave gear right now because we bought an RV, and so we're paying all that off. So that's part of it. So I wasn't able to get in on clown fruit. And Douglas didn't need anything at the moment. So one of these days, I'm going to score a set of clown fruit. Okay. Really want that. The last one is envy. Who do you envy the most in wet shaving? And I take this not so much as envy, because I don't really envy anybody that way, but admire. And so some of the people that I really admire are, guys that I know and I've watched kind of start from almost nothing to and building up, and they're really promote wet shaving and are really ambassadors for wet shaving. And so just some off the top of my head, of course, we've got Peter Charkalis, Charky, just so full of energy and such a small man. But Charky is awesome. If you haven't chatted with him or talked to him, it's just awesome. I got to actually meet him face to face at the Big Shave West, and it was like we had been friends forever. We were just hanging out again. Not a big deal. It's just awesome. Doug the Smythe from PAA is another one that goes out of his way to advocate wet shaving, and is an absolute innovator. Really pours his heart and soul into wet shaving, and definitely admire that. Comes out with some awesome stuff. The next one would be Con from Shave the Man, and Con's another one. Was watching a video with Con in it, one of his Shave the Man videos, that made me go, maybe I'll create a Facebook account, because I was anti-Facebook before that. Maybe I'll create a Facebook account and join his Shave the Man and see what it's all about. It's kind of cool. Wet shaving's kind of cool. So I did that, and wow, just craziness after that. So Con, definitely one of the people I admire most. Got to meet him as well at the Big Shave West, and very cool guy. And then the last one I'm going to list here is my really good buddy and almost brother, Dean Mark Walter from Hazelet's Apothecary. Dean was actually the first fellow wet shaver, fellow artisan that I got to meet face to face. I was on a trip up in Colorado, and I basically got some extra time, so I went and crashed at his place for a night. And, we just stayed up until the wee hours talking about wet shaving, and just, it was cool. And so since then, we have been, like brothers. There's, nothing he can't call me up and say, hey, man, can you send me this? And I won't do. And it's the same way, if I need something from him, not a problem. We swap knots and brushes and all that kind of stuff all the time. Okay, so speaking of which, the last thing here is, who am I going to tag? So I was tagged by Rich from Shaving with Rich, and I'm going to tag some of my particular friends who I don't believe have been tagged. I think, a lot of my other friends have already been tagged, and I'm a little bit late in the game because I've been sick for the last week. But so the tags that I want to do would be Dean Mark Walter from Hazelet's Apothecary. Love to see what Dean has to say with his 7 deadly sins of wet shaving. Rob Moffat from That Darn Rob, brushmaker extraordinaire. And wow, let's see, where's his brushes? I got a bunch of his brushes, but his brushes, if you haven't checked him out, he really only just started, but his turns, I've watched them kind of be, a little clunky and ugly, and now they're just freaking beautiful. And he'll turn a bunch of brushes during the week and then throw them up, and it seems like they're instantly sold out. So absolutely awesome, Rob. Really proud of you to see you grow like that. It's been really awesome. In fact, in Hazelet's Lounge, Rob did we did a group buy on a brush, and so this was it on his there. And so it's kind of this top hat look with the nice purple that he did, and I had him throw in a knot in there that's a tuxedo style knot. So that one's pretty cool. Love this brush. I think I've got 3 or 4 of them now. I think 3. Anyway, so the next person I would like to tag would be John Eplin from Dr. John's Soaps. John's a real, stays pretty quiet in the shave groups and stuff, but he's a really cool guy. And I've had the chance to talk to him a lot over the years. And then another really good friend of mine that, haven't met him in person yet. I did meet John in person, and I met Dean, of course, in person. But Another really good friend that just really enjoy talking to is Daryl Owens from Your Best Face. Daryl, I'm tagging you. I'd love to see your 7 Deadly Sins of wet shaving. You're an artisan, obviously, so yours will be a little bit different than a lot of the other 7 Deadly Sins, but hey, that's how it works for some of us. All right, there you go. Those are my 7 Deadly Sins. I've done my tags. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys later.